The 27UD68P from LG is a beautiful looking monitor offering 4K resolution, that's 3840 by 2160, in a 27-inch form factor. This panel is color calibrated well and is IPS instead of the traditional TN panel monitors to offer better color reproduction and better viewing angles. As many of you may know, I have been dealing with this particular monitor for quite some time, and I have yet to really use it. I've been in contact with LG, and it seems that after 3 months of nothing but headaches, the story is finally over. The 27UD68P is a black monitor with a clean look to it. Unfortunately, when I ordered it, it worked great until about 2 weeks in. The monitor itself had some pretty bad ghosting issues with images persisting, even after being left in place for as little as 5 minutes. It's barely noticeable in most cases, however, so it took a couple of weeks for me to notice it. Given that I'd been basically playing hot potato with LG for the past 3 months, there's not really much to say relative to the support experience regarding the monitor, since I haven't used it all that thoroughly. Because of this video is going to be a sort of hybrid between a traditional review and my experience with LG throughout the process. The monitor itself ships in a nice sturdy box, which upon opening reveals some well-packaged contents. The monitor is sleeved in a protective anti-static bag and held in place by 2 pieces of styrofoam. Along with this, you will also find the base for the monitor. Upon removing the base and the top piece of styrofoam before extracting the monitor, you will then find a bag of cables. Within this bag, there is a DC adapter that plugs into the monitor for power and 2 cables. Since the monitor features both, it ships with both a 4-foot HDMI cable and a 4-foot DisplayPort cable, depending on your preference or use case. Speaking of connectors and cables, if we move on to the back of the monitor, we'll find that it features a DisplayPort 1.4 port, as well as 2 HDMI 2.0 ports. To the right of that, we can see a jack for DC power in, and since both HDMI and DisplayPort carry both video and audio, there's also a 3.5mm audio jack for headphones or speakers of your choosing. The monitor is VESA compatible and has a pretty well-featured stand. It does allow for height adjustments, and while it does not have a swivel adjustment whatsoever, it does tilt and it does pivot, making the stand itself fairly versatile. The display is advertised as 99% sRGB color compliant, and it comes with a factory calibration report, allowing you to see calibration results. While it will help to use a hardware color calibration tool to further calibrate it properly, the color is still pretty great out of the box for those that don't need absolutely perfect color reproduction. While I didn't do any gaming in the short time that I used it, I did use it mainly for video editing here at the office, and the color accuracy as well as the extra real estate from the 4K display really streamlined the entire workflow and made the whole experience that much more enjoyable. I played a fair bit of Nidhogg, I must admit, while I was using the monitor, but I didn't do much else as far as gaming goes, so I can't say for sure how it feels in regards to lag and refresh rates. Nidhogg, by the way, is a pretty awesome side-scrolling combat game, and there's a link down in the description for those of you that want to check it out. This, my friends, is where my testing period ends. Unfortunately, as we went from being far ahead of schedule as far as editing goes to the point where we needed to start editing again, there was a problem. On light backgrounds, like when browsing the web or editing documents or spreadsheets, there wasn't much to notice. However, when I started regularly seeing the darker gray background of DaVinci Resolve and Adobe After Effects, we started noticing some ghosting. If we left an image with contrasting parts to it on the screen for even as little as 5 minutes, after changing what was on the screen, there would be some fairly noticeable ghosting that would fade away in a few minutes. Of course, because this bothered us, I gave LG a call to see what was up. I relayed all this information to the customer service rep that I spoke to and explained everything about what was happening and how to reproduce the problem. The rep took note of this and was scheduled a repair on the monitor. In a couple of days, I got my shipping label in my email and gave FedEx a call to schedule the pickup before packing everything up to be sent for repair. About a week later, it's been shipped in and LG's taken a look and fixed it, and it's on its way. I have a tracking number, and the reports show that nothing was found in the diagnosis, and therefore they didn't actually fix anything. So, naturally, when I got it back, I wrote up the steps of exactly what the issue was and how to reproduce it, and taped it directly to the monitor to make sure someone sees it and knows what the issue is. Take 2 went a little bit better, and they actually found an issue. The report says they found an intermittent display issue and replaced a part with the electrical system. This, of course, is not what my problem is at all, so I gave LG a call to see if they could elaborate. Well, the CSR basically told me they can't see any more details than I can, so he couldn't elaborate on that particular case. He did ask about my problem, and after explaining it to him, he assured me that this issue is most likely related and I should be good to go. Of course, I get the monitor back, and lo and behold, we still have a ghosting issue. I gave them a call again and explained my issue to the CSR. By this point, it's been about a month and a half. I mentioned that after a quick search, it seems to be a really common issue with that model, and that I was ideally looking at the 27UD68, effectively the 68P's bigger brother, which I knew didn't have that issue. I asked about paying the difference and being able to swap the 68 for a new 88, and was told that they couldn't do that. I was, however, told they could swap it for a factory refurbished unit depending on availability. I might be able to get an 88, which was pretty great. So we set that up, and I was told that the request would take a few days to confirm, after which I would be contacted with more info. After a week and a half, 8 business days to be exact, I still had received nothing, so I gave them another call. Upon explaining myself and asking about the request, I was told my request had been canceled. This surprised me. They have my phone number, they have my email, and yet I received no warning whatsoever telling me that it had been canceled. So I then went ahead and set something else up, and I was told that it would take up to 5 business days to approve the request. Fast forward a week later, and I get an email from another representative and was told they'd like me to reply with an invoice so that they can see when and where I purchased it and for how much. They also wanted my contact details, which I happily provided. The next day, the same rep calls me back and basically tells me it's all over. Well, I do not have any units of the 27UD68P in stock or any other comparable models. They were able to refund me. I was told that I needed to wait for a shipping label, which he would make sure was out by the end of the business day, after which I could send it in, and upon receiving it, they would be more than happy to process a refund despite me buying from Newegg and mail a check for the full amount that I paid when I purchased it. At this time, I have yet to package everything up, as you can see here, because I needed it for this video. However, once that's done, the plan is to put a bit extra toward the 27UD88, which doesn't have this issue nearly as commonly, and it's basically an upgrade from the 68. We'll have videos out on that at some point, although I'm not sure how long it will take before we get everything up, so make sure you're subscribed for those. All in all, I was mostly pleased with the quality of the monitor, with the only issue I had being the ghosting, which, since it seems to be fairly widespread among this particular model, means I have to take a few points off. While I can't compare it to anything else just yet, I don't recommend getting this monitor specifically unless you are willing to deal with this issue and support possibly multiple times to fix it. Support when I was dealing with everything, however, was okay right away, and there were numerous hiccups, which disappointed me, but in the end, they pulled through and were able to resolve the problems I had. I do have to give them credit for that, and I was pleasantly surprised with the stops they were able to pull. If you like this video, or the LG monitor and saga in general, which, by the way, you can check out the unboxing and status update on, go ahead and hit that like button. If you didn't like it, hit that other button. Let us know in the comments. Have you guys ever had any issues with this particular model monitor or similar monitors like the 88? I really would love to hear what you guys have to say, especially before making a purchase. If you like our videos and you want to support us, consider changing your Amazon bookmark to the affiliate link down in the description. We get a small kickback when you buy things like monitors like this one, and that helps us out quite a great amount. Alternatively, if you'd like to support us directly, there's a Patreon link in the description as well, where you can pledge an amount of money per video to help us keep creating videos like this one. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, make sure to subscribe to stay updated on what happens with the new monitor that hopefully doesn't suck as bad as this one.